From the moment my daughter was born, she had this way of looking at you like she knew you. Things got really strange when we were at the airport and saw a group of Mennonites. I don't know how she could have known what they were because we've never talked about them before, and she was only 1.5. I almost fell over when she said that. And I remember saying, so there is a God? She says, no, Mommy, I remember God, but I'm starting to forget him. And she wouldn't give me any details, or couldn't give me any details. What she did explain to me was, I was with him before I was with you. Things were quiet for a while, and then something else happened. Jess started saying that her left knee was bothering her. It would ache or felt like something really awful happened to it. And I thought maybe she'd heard it playing soccer or running in gym class, could have been anything, but she hadn't injured it in any way. She had a perfectly normal looking leg. Then when she kept complaining about it and there was no bruising, no nothing, I got concerned. I took her to the doctor.
They never could give her a medical reason as to what was going on.
The doctor just said, maybe it's just growing pains. I thought there was more to it, but I really didn't know what to make of it. And then another thing happened. She'd have some nightmares. There were times when she'd get up and crying and come into my bed saying, Mommy, I had a nightmare. And they seemed to be pretty bad because she was hysterical. I remember her telling me at times, Mom, I was there. I feel like it was real. It wasn't a dream. It wasn't a dream. I honestly didn't know what to do. One morning, Jess started talking to me about some of the dreams that she's been having. She told me about these tall leather boots. They didn't look like anything she'd ever seen before. She told me that she was walking through a field with hills on both sides, and she couldn't remember exactly where she was, but she knew she was in England. And then there were horses, and she mentioned a king, and she mentioned farmers and people fighting alongside each other. When there was an explosion, and that her leg was injured, and she kept seeing this over and over again. I felt that that was one of the most bizarre things I ever heard out of my little girl's mouth. She was so convinced that she said, I kind of figured out what's wrong with me. I was here before. Jess was talking to me about her memory. She said that she remembers being on a battlefield. She remembers the way it looked. She remembers the way that it smelled. And she remembered a date. Jess told me that the date was October 23rd, 1642. To have a dream that you were on the battlefield, I thought that was interesting, but the fact that she could actually point to a date was way exciting because maybe we could validate this. Maybe there is a way to see if this is definitely really happened.
Kim is very supportive of Jess and really wanted to show her that she was listening to what she was telling her, and she started doing some research because she wanted to share this with her and show her that she was there for her.
If you look up on the internet, a battle in England in the 1600s, you're bound to find something somewhere. But there in front of me on the screen was the date, October 23rd, 1642. There was a battle, the Battle of Edge Hill. She wasn't looking on the internet at that age. She wasn't learning English history in elementary school. How would she know that? There's no way that she would know that at all. It was hard to process, but the Battle of Edge Hill did add up to everything that Jess had been talking about remembering. I found out that the battle was the first battle of the First English Civil War. It was an intense battle in a war that lasted 4 years. During that battle, 1,500 men died and another 2,000 to 3,000 were injured. Because it was a civil war, everybody fought, not just soldiers. There were farmers and other folks fighting as well. They had an artist's rendering on there, so I took that picture and printed it out, and I gave it to my daughter and sat down and said, hey, does this look familiar to you? And she says, oh, I know that place, I've been there. I thought, wow, this is really unbelievable. Jess remembers being shot in the leg, and she told me that she remembers being carried off the battlefield, and she remembers someone taking care of her. And she remembers that she passed away. It was hard to hear your daughter say that she died before. After a lot of research, we were finally able to find a person who was in the Battle of Edge Hill that had striking similarities to what Jess remembered.
My name's Jess, I'm 19 and I live in Wethersfield, Connecticut. I wouldn't say I had a hard time relating to kids, but I definitely knew I was different. These memories are so vivid and so real that it feels like I'm talking about my childhood or a memory from last week, a vacation. It's really important for my mom to be supportive and at least open-minded to believing in this, because she would be denying a part that is me if she denies that this could at least hypothetically be real. And it's important to me to have my mom accept this part of myself.
I definitely wish Jess would communicate more about this. It came to a point where she stopped letting me know all of the details that she remembers, so I think that it would be good to talk about it, but I feel that it might be painful for her to be remembering battle or war or whatever it is that she's remembering. So I said to her, we need to go do some research on that. We found this information on this one man who was the Lord of Lindsay, and his name was Robert Bertie. And I found some information about Robert Bertie that I didn't know before. So I found something on the internet related to the memory that you had. And I found the name of Robert Bertie, who was the first Earl of Lindsay. He was born in 1583 and he died October 24th, 1642.
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding. So look at this. If you see, I'm gonna go down here and show you that he served in a couple different places. Queen Elizabeth I was his godmother.
I've always felt connected to her.
Well, the cool thing is you know how you mentioned, let me show you this part right here. Lord Lindsay was shot through the thigh bone. He fell from his horse. And his son was in battle with him, so they surrendered. And they
carried me. Oh.
And he carried his father to a shed, nearby shed.
Oh my God.
Here's a picture.
Wow. I'm speechless.
So there's something else that I have to tell you.
Oh goodness.
So in looking at this,
That's me.
I saw up here that he served in the Netherlands before the Battle of Edge Hill. And I guess in the Netherlands, there were a lot of Mennonites around that time.
Stop. Get out.
It's kind of funny how everything you dreamt about is right here.
Like, I remember these things.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I always wanted to speak with a British accent.
Could be.
I still do.
Well, he was on his horse when he got shot. And so, you know, you always loved horses.
I've always
and you
loved
remembered
horses.
the riding boots well.
That's what they were, because they weren't soldier boots. They were up to my knees. Leather boots. It's very strange to think I was a male. To know I was a male. This is... Whew. Wow. I can't even breathe. Oh my goodness.
So hopefully that helps out a little bit and
It's almost like
make you understand certain things of
that
your
was
life.
the missing piece that I was looking for. This is what I was looking for.
I'm really excited that the research that I did panned out and that we were able to come up with something definitive to say this is who you were. The fact that he got shot in the leg, the fact that he was on a horse, I mean, all the details matching up, I think that was pretty powerful. And just seeing the reaction on her face when I let her know was, it was really worth it.